Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to set up an SRX node. And I didn't intend on doing this video because Mr. Blockchain and a few other people already did such a great job. But I had enough people asking, and I already have a few SRX nodes, so I know the process. And so I had enough people asking about my way of doing it. I'm going to keep it brief because this is a pretty brief process, but there are a few things that I want to show you that I do that may be a little bit different. So without further ado, and actually before we get into it, I was originally going to go over SRX a little bit and my thoughts. I'm actually not going to do that in this video at all. If you guys want that in another video, I'll do that. I'll do kind of a deep dive into what StorX is and my thoughts on the team, the project, the longevity, all that kind of stuff. It just didn't seem appropriate for this video, but you know, if you guys want something like that, let me know and I will do a deep dive in a separate video. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so first things first, go ahead and go over to storx.tech. That's storx.tech. This is StorX's official website. I'm going to put all the links in the description as always, so you know, if you can't pause this in time and grab the link, don't worry about it. It's going to be in the description below. This is their official website. I recommend that you come on here and you do your research, right? You can actually, you know, as a node provider, you are hosting a node and operating that node on the XDC blockchain, which is what StorX runs on, and you are allowing people to store their data in a decentralized cloud blockchain-based storage solution, essentially. So you can, on the other end of that, be a user and actually set up the software to store your data if you'd like to do that. They give you 2 gigs for free. Okay, and as a matter of fact, they have enterprise solutions if you want to pay. All the payments are in SRX, of course, which is appropriate. I recommend you tear this page down. It talks about how it works. One day, maybe if you guys want, I'll do a video on what SRX is, how it works from a technical perspective, and just my thoughts on it. But I really do recommend that you do your research before you invest in something. You should not invest, in my opinion, just because a price is going up and you see green candles, or just because everyone else is talking about it. That's not a good reason. For me, the gold standard test has always been, if you were woken up out of a dead sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning and someone said, quick, tell me what SRX is. You should be able to, out of a dead sleep, in 20-30 seconds, explain exactly what SRX is. If you could do that, you pretty much know what you're invested in, okay? So I really do recommend, know what you hold, know what you're buying. Don't do it because your family said, don't do it because I or anyone else on Twitter told you to do it. Do it because you understand what it is, what it does, and you look into the economics of it, you look into the team, you look into what it does. Okay, that's my little rant about that. If you come on here, you will see all sorts of information. There's videos, there's documentation. Just tear this down. And up here, you're going to see a link that says host a node. Okay, if you click on that, you're going to get to this page. They're called farm nodes. It's a strange term, but they are called farm nodes, okay? So it says storage or farm node. My understanding is they're the same, but I may be wrong about that. I'm not sure. I think they're the same thing. But you'll see here one processor. I mean, the biggest issue, really, that you'll run into, and what makes it a little bit challenging to find requirements, or to find a server that meets these requirements, is the storage space, which is 1 terabyte. The bandwidth of 10 terabytes is not that uncommon, but finding that along with the 1 terabyte of storage space is kind of what is a little more uncommon. I'm going to show you some solutions to that I recommend, some services that I've used, but just keep in mind that's what makes this a little more difficult. If you click Setup Storage or Farm Node, you're going to be brought over to their GitHub. In here, you're going to see all sorts of code and fun things for Linux. I'm going to break this down for you. Excuse me. It's going to be pretty simple. There's really not a whole lot you need to do, actually, which is good for you, of course. But if you come to the page that is farmer.storx.io, again, link in the description below, this is where all the action kind of takes place. This is the dashboard that shows all of the different nodes, how many are active, how much XRX has been staked, what the rewards are, how many are inactive, meaning they're just waiting to get a reputation so they can go live. So you got 53 inactive, 3,700 active farm and storage nodes. And you can use a number of wallets. So the first thing you want to do, in my opinion, this is what I use. Okay, you don't have to use what I use, but I use XinPay. If you come up here to connect, you're going to see all the different wallets that they allow. XinPay, private key, which I think is just a wallet that you have a seed phrase you can connect into if it's compatible. I don't know exactly what key store is, and then there's Decent. I know a lot of people love Decent. There is some limitations to XinPay. I believe my understanding from what I have researched is that you can only create 10 wallets inside of XinPay. So XinPay operates just like MetaMask. If you're used to using MetaMask, XinPay is basically a very similar interface. How in MetaMask you can literally go in the upper right and click add account and it literally creates another address. Same thing with XinPay, but you can only do that 10 times before you have to literally create a whole new wallet and then do another 10 times and so on. My understanding is Decent allows a much larger maximum threshold. I think it's like 20 or 50 or 100 or something along those lines. I'm not totally sure. So if you're going to set up more than 10 SRX nodes, first of all, good for you. But second of all, you might just create a second account inside XinPay. That's what I would do personally. If you want to move to Decent or something, that's fine too. And the link in the description to go and download and install XinPay will be there. You just need to install it. It is a Chrome extension. It might work for the Brave browser as well, but it is an extension for the Chrome browser. And when you set that up, there's a few things that we need to do, and I'm going to show you how to add the SRX token in there because it is not added by default. So let's go find that address. So I've had a few people ask, where do they find the official contract address? The contract address is just the address on the XinFin blockchain that holds the token, the SRX token, because you need to add that into your wallet first. I've seen a number of different contract addresses. I'm going to show you the easiest way to find it. The easiest way to find it is to just go to the StorX website. On the far top here, you'll see smart contract address. You want to copy this here. This is the official address. If you want to confirm that, first of all, you can click on it and go look at it. But I'm going to show you how in the XinFin Explorer, you can actually go find this. So this is explore.xinfin.network. Okay, this is like Etherscan, but for XDC, basically. And you got a lot of data in here, but all we care about is on the upper right here where it says contracts. You're going to click tokens. You can search for it, but if you don't want to search for it, I think it's on page 4. It's right here, StorX. There's a couple below it. I don't know what these are for. They might be for something that I'm not aware of, but this is the official one. As a matter of fact, if you click these, you won't see anything in there. It'll just be 0 and a bunch of stuff. But if you click this, this is the official contract address, and you'll see the decimal, the number of total supply, how many holders there are, the price, all that. So you know this is official. You can see all of the transactions taking place and so on. So inside of XinPay, too many X's. Inside of XinPay, you want to make sure of a couple of things. Number one, important, put 10 stars next to this. Do not send anything to testnet. Do not send anything. Make sure you are on mainnet. I believe you're on mainnet by default, but just if you're installing this for the first time, make sure before you do anything, you're on mainnet first of all. You'll notice this looks very similar to how MetaMask looks, and what I was referring to earlier, if you click this little, looks like a little person icon. I have 5 accounts. I created a 6th one just for this video. If you create an account, it basically, just like MetaMask, will spawn a new wallet address. But you can only do that 10 times. And if I'm incorrect on that, please correct me in the comments. If it's more than 10 times or less or something, let me know. I believe it's 10 accounts, and then you have to literally make a whole new login and do it 10 more times with a whole new seed phrase and everything. So anyway, when you get into here, you're going to need to add the token, because you'll notice tokens, nothing's in here. The only thing that's in here by default is XDC. That's it. SRX is not in here by default. So let's copy this contract address. Come back up here to XinPay, hit add token. I'm just going to paste that in here. It should, okay. Yeah, it doesn't do that like MetaMask where it fills it in. So I'm going to call this SRX. I actually don't think the name matters too much. I think you could put StorX as well. And you'll see over here on the left it says 18 decimals. So we'll add 18 decimals. There you go. So when you receive your payout for your node, it will just automatically get deposited into your wallet in 30 days. That happens, you don't need to do anything. Okay? And of course, you know the current rewards are basically 740, give or take, and then 6%. I should have actually went over that. I didn't. But 9,000 per year comes out to about 740-ish, give or take. Plus you get 6% of the amount that's staked. So basically it comes out to about 750 a month, give or take. Okay? That gets deposited into your wallet automatically. You'll come in here one day and it'll just be here. You won't have to do anything. Then you can obviously, and what we just did there, you can click the dots to the left of it and send it and do whatever you want to do with it. Okay? It's also very important that you are aware of this. Up here where it says minimum staking amount will be updated as per the new incremental model from, I think that's August 3rd, 2021 onwards. If you click this, this is something you're going to want to look at. So as the number of nodes increases, the requirement is going to increase. So we're currently here at 4,000. Once we hit 4,000 nodes, it's going to be 5,000 SRX. And I believe that's the maximum. Let's hope that's the maximum. It may not be. They may update this model, but you know, 4,000 nodes, so we're looking at not very far from that. We're getting, I think I've calculated around 30 to 60 per day new nodes, so kind of keep that into your calculations. Okay. So when you come in here and you want to connect your XinPay wallet, because now we need to connect it, you're going to see something up here that says connect. I'm going to show you an issue, a technical issue people are getting, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. So you're going to click connect. You're going to click XinPay. You're going to say, please unlock XinPay wallet. Well, it is unlocked, so what do we need to do? A lot of people get this problem. For some reason, MetaMask and XinPay do not work well together. I don't know what the reason for it is, but if you have MetaMask enabled, you need to just temporarily disable it. I'm going to show you how to do that in Chrome. There's a couple ways to do it. This is the easiest. You should see a little puzzle piece up here. That's going to allow you to get access to your extensions. If you don't see that, just click the three dots, go into your settings, and find where it says extensions. You can get to the same window, but I'm going to click this, and I'm going to click Manage Extensions. And I'm going to actually come down to where it says MetaMask and turn it off. See how it's now gray, where before it was blue? I'm going to come back in here. I don't think you need to refresh, but I'm going to refresh anyway. And go ahead and click Connect, click XinPay. There you go. You can actually at this point go back and re-enable MetaMask again. That's usually what I do. It's just for some reason it cannot connect to that website with MetaMask on. I don't know the reason for it. Hopefully they fix that soon. And now they both will work just fine. So you need to come under here and click Staking. Once you're connected, you'll see it goes from Connect to Connected. Click Staking. Now you're going to see the minimum. Obviously we're at 4,000. Once this gets bumped up, it will say 5,000. You're going to see not a staker. So that means obviously that well, first of all, it means a couple of things. Number one, we don't have the reputation to stake right now. We need a minimum. And then once we actually do stake and we're good to go, this will change to that you're a staker, essentially. Okay. And I'm going to show you just a couple things to do with this. Now, in this video, I do not have the SRX to create this node. I'm going to build the node, and I'm going to do everything except stake. That's the easiest part, so you really don't need to watch me do that. But when you have the 4,000 SRX in your XinPay wallet here, you do need some XDC as the gas. Now, this is not like Ethereum where it's going to cost you $50 to do a transaction. It'll cost you maybe a couple pennies. So you don't need that much XDC. I usually keep like 100, and that's way too much. Okay, you're going to need some XDC in here. So I would send the XDC first, then send the SRX. When you come in here, you're going to type in 4,000. you're going to click approve. Okay, so this is like the ticket to get onto the bridge, if you will. Lack of a better analogy. Okay, that's going to go through as one transaction, and when that is approved and that has actually taken place up here, this approved amount will go from 0 to 4,000. Then you need to come back in here because this button will change from approve to stake. Okay, once your reputation has reached, I've heard a couple of things. I'll tell you my experience. My experience is that your reputation needs to be 10. I've heard people say your reputation could be 1 and you can stake. Personally, I ran into a problem. I had to wait for my reputation to be 10. That increases after your node is set up. So you need to set up the node first, okay, that's connected to your wallet address. Okay, when it has been online long enough, your reputation rises, and as it hits 10, you can stake. If you do it before then, hitting stake will give you an error, and you'll try to figure out what's going on. You'll pull your hair out, not being able to figure it out. So again, you want to click approve. Once it's approved and your reputation reaches the minimum, you want to come in here and click stake. Until the moment you click stake, you are not earning anything, and you're subject to this minimum going up. So you want to make that happen quickly. So we need to go and set up the node first. That's the most important part, because you got to get your reputation up first. Okay, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, a little bit of a tirade, because I saw somebody on Twitter who will remain nameless who said that they put their pre-search node onto their onto the same server as our SRX node. In my other video, when I showed you how to set up pre-search nodes, I strongly advise against doing that because of issues like he ended up facing. And I still see people recommending to do that. I'm telling you what I know. I don't know everything. Okay, I'm telling you what I know to be a fact. That can you run it? Yes. Will they run? Probably. Yeah, you can set them up and run it. Is it a good practice? No. There's a reason why in IT we have good practices. Okay, I remember specific environments I'd walk into where they've got a server, okay, operating, say, Active Directory. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. You'll get the point. Okay, they're operating Active Directory, obviously, because they have a server. They're like, well, hey, we need a file server now too, so let's throw that on there. And you know, Active Directory already is doing DNS, it's doing authentication, it's probably doing WSUS, it's doing addressing, it's doing a lot of different things. So let's throw a file server on there. Oh, and by the way, we need a database, so let's throw SQL services on there now. And oh, by the way, we got to host our antivirus. So they start throwing all this stuff on one server, and then one thing has a problem, and it becomes a cascading effect on all this other stuff, and it becomes just a nightmare. Okay, and had them separate that out, and their lives were always that much easier moving forward. So in the short run, yes, it's easier to throw everything on one server. In the long run, it's not. In the long run, it will come back to bite you in the butt in some fashion. Maybe not. You know, maybe you'll be fortunate you won't. But if it does, you're going to have a lot of problems. So trust me, from the bottom of my heart, I'm telling you, spend $5, okay? Put it on a separate server, call it a day. Don't start throwing all this crap on one server and end up having problems because SRX needs to get updated and pre-search needs to get updated, and now they're not working properly, and now you got to figure out which is causing the problem. Guys, it's not worth it. Please, just trust me, it's not worth it. Please. So I'm going to show you now after that rant. Appreciate you listening if you did. I'm going to show you a couple of different VPS providers for SRX. Please just make sure you put SRX and SRX only on it. Don't put anything else on it. You guys are in luck, because before I made this video, so Contabo is one of the ones that I recommend. I have actually most of mine on Contabo. I did create another one on a different provider. I'll show you in a minute. You go to Contabo's website, you hit VPS, and you go to StorX VPS. This one over here for $16.99 got completely sold out when SRX first launched. I think actually 3 or 4 weeks after SRX launched, this was gone. And I am pretty sure even just yesterday when I checked this, it was still gone. I think this is the first day I've actually seen this available again. So this has 1.4 terabytes of hard drive space, 32 terabytes of bandwidth. You're good to go. That's outbound bandwidth, by the way, not inbound bandwidth. This is a great option. This would be probably you know, I guess you can. Well, I might pick this one first, but the other one I'm going to show you is just as good. It's just cheaper. Okay, so this is Contabo. You guys are in luck if you can get this one because this has been out of stock for a while. And their alternative was like $30, I think, $34. So the other one that I found that I use is called LiteServer. They're in the Netherlands, so they're not US based. Contabo is US based. So I would select this one here. This is the one that I got, the HDD2G. This is, I think that's euro, 10 euro. It's about $12 a month. Now, I will tell you, they are on a shortage. I contacted them before I made this video because you see limited stock. They are on a shortage because of there's a global chip shortage. So if you want this, I would recommend you get it quickly. I want to show you something really quick when you go to order these because I had someone bring, oh, it's already out of stock. Okay, it's out of stock, so never mind. I was going to show you something when you buy these. Somebody was bringing up the fact that they were asking for a VAT or a tax number. You can't ignore that. They're out of stock, so maybe, you know, I think $15 in euro might end up being the same. So you might just go with Contabo. If you want to use LiteServer, I do have an affiliate link in the description. Use it or don't use it. That's totally up to you. So anyway, it looks like you might have to use Contabo then in that instance. I'm going to show you a third option if you really want to spend money and you absolutely have no other option that you can use. Vultr does have a server. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg to run it. But you can deploy this server right here for $320 a month. That's a lot of money. I would not do this unless you were really, really desperate. Unfortunately, Vultr does not have storage VPSs. They just don't. It's not part of their specialty. Okay, I would not do this. Again, I would not do this unless you really, really got desperate. But you could. Okay, I would do Contabo first. LiteServer, if they're in stock, they're cheaper. So if you could do LiteServer, do it. Otherwise, use Contabo. So for the purposes of this video, I decided to just spin up a Vultr node because I'm not going to keep it. I'm just showing you the process of how to set this up. So what we need to do is open up PuTTY. Some of you have asked where you can get PuTTY. Just do a Google search for PuTTY. It'll literally be the first link you see. Also want to bring up one little thing in PuTTY. If you're having problems with copy and pasting, when you open up PuTTY, you'll see the PuTTY configuration window. Come down to Window, expand that if it's not expanded. Click Selection. This will modify the actions that your mouse click takes place when you use your mouse clicks. I like Windows. What that means is when I right click, I get a context menu to come up and then I can select paste because sometimes I accidentally hit the right click on my mouse, so I don't want it to just paste automatically. Okay, if you maybe are having problems, you might be on Xterm, you want compromise, that means when you hit right click, it pastes automatically. I put mine on Windows, so when I hit right click, I get a window that pops up with options. That's what I prefer. So go ahead and put our IP address in here. We're going to connect. Hit yes. You're always root. Copy the password. See, so when I right click, this is the window that I get. Okay, so I hit paste. So now that we're connected, you do have your list of commands here on the StorX website. Fortunately, you are calling upon a GitHub repository, so because of that, this is much easier. This is going to install Docker. It's going to do everything that needs to be done without you having to manually enter in command by command. Okay. So when I am starting a connection to a new server, what I always do, and this is what I recommend you do, is you update everything. It's just a good practice. Okay. So we've got our command. It's sudo apt-get update. Okay, this is the safest update measure because it does not remove anything. It just installs new updates. So sudo apt-get update. That's all you gotta type in. Depending on what needs to be updated, if there is anything needs to be updated, this can take some time. Shouldn't take too long, and it's already done, you see. So if we go back to the instructions here on GitHub, we've got this command. This should be the only command. There is going to be some things you need to do after you enter it, but that should be the only one of the only few commands you need, I should say. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there. You need to enter your XDC address. So you're going to come up to XinPay. You're going to hit copy right here. You're going to go back to PuTTY and paste that in there. It's going to do everything. It's going to install Docker. It's going to unpack all these different pieces of software. It's going to get the node up and running, etc. You're going to get to a point here where you need to hit enter to continue. That's fine. Just hit enter to continue. This is mostly a sit back and watch type of thing. Then I'm going to show you at the end how to run some commands to check on the status of it, make sure it's running, and then show you what to do. There's one more step you need to do after this. We will actually be on the staking dashboard that we were on earlier. And so now we're at the Docker part. While this is running, let's go ahead and check out where we are with the node dashboard at this point. You can come into here to staking, and this is what you saw previously. Obviously, once your node is up and running, it's now connected to your address. Obviously, if you have a different account inside of XinPay and you click that, it will update. Okay, and that's because that node is connected to that address. That's the main driver of what is connecting when you come here with XinPay to your node. Your server that's actually running is the address. Okay, that's kind of the main driver that's looking between the two. So we're done. We're done. Now obviously you'll see a green done. That would make sense. So there are a list of commands that you can run if you care. By going in here, you can see there's kind of ignore everything down to step 4 after you do that. This is just a second option if the first command for some reason fails. I have not had that happen, so hopefully you don't either. Just go down to step 4. You can start your node. I believe it might be started by default, but you might want to just start it anyway. It's probably a good idea. So this is the command right here to start it. Okay, so we're going to go back. That in there. Okay, so we're getting an issue here that's an error. Instead of you guys having to sit there and wait and watch me correct it, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to fix this problem, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how I fixed it. Okay, so I was getting an error. I wanted to pause it and fix it so you didn't have to sit there and watch me fix it, but when I went ahead to start the node, it was saying no file or directory existed, so all you need to do is cd space s and then the asterisk symbol. That will bring you into the prop. Sometimes when you run and install this, it doesn't dump you into the right directory, and that was the issue. You can see my command right here. I just did cd s star, and then all my commands worked. You just weren't in the right directory. Sometimes it puts you in you get dumped in sometimes the wrong directory, let's put it that way. And if you're not in the right directory, you can't find what you're looking for. So if you want to run the actual node, you want to take this command right here where it says for mainnet run. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and I already did it. Let me copy it again real quick here because hit that. You see up to date. Okay. And there's a whole other list of commands you can run. Right here, we'll just check the status. So let's go ahead and paste that in. You will get a status on what's going on. So you'll see here it's running, it's connected, you're good to go. There's not a whole lot more you need to do other than obviously coming back here. Now at this point, what's going to happen is your reputation is going to start going up. Okay. It's going to take time. I've heard some people it's taking longer than usual. Obviously with this run up, it's going to take longer than usual. So just be patient is what I would recommend, but you should eventually see this current reputation is 1 or 2 or whatever. Again, you want to make sure you approve, and once you're approved, if you see a reputation at 1, try to stake and let me know if that works. If it does not work, you're going to get some sort of error that's going to say, you know, something like error, user is not a staker or something like that. You're going to get that kind of error, and if you do get that, then you're going to need to wait for you to hit a reputation of 10. I have heard it can take a day or two. Unfortunately, you are going to potentially run into a problem where if they up this to 5,000, you haven't staked yet, you're going to need another 1,000 SRX, because that's kind of the waiting period that you're on right now at this point. Okay. We'll go. I re-enabled MetaMask again, so you can see how to fix that. Of course, I just want to reconnect here and refresh just to make sure that it's not showing anything else. Yeah. Okay. So that's essentially what you're waiting for at this point. But your node, your server, I should say, is up and running. It's done. It's finished. There isn't anything else you need to do. It's literally, you know, I would say update it, and then get the node running, so it's like 2 commands, and then put the address in there, and remember CD space S with the asterisk if you're trying to get it to show you the status and it's saying it can't find a file or directory, you're in the wrong directory first, do that. And you should be good to go, and that is essentially how you set up an SRX node. If you guys have any questions or anything, you know, leave a comment, of course. I will try to get to you as quickly as I can. If you know of anybody that's trying to set up an SRX node, please feel free to share this with them, and hopefully it will help them. Again, this is just my take on it. Doesn't mean my video is better than anybody else's. It just means it's my my approach to it. Okay, I've had some people ask me about these things in my banner. These were just icons that I picked that I am invested in, that are some of my favorite passive income sources. They're not the only ones that I have, or the only ones that I'm invested in, the only ones I'm researching. I will eventually probably make a video on every single one of them, that's for sure, but that's what this is up here. It says SRX's icon. Probably make a video on these as well, but those are not by any means the limit of what I'm going to be talking about here. So feel free to share this, and you know, obviously follow me on Twitter, Showtime2KX. Feel free to like and share it and subscribe, and until next time, God bless, and thanks for tuning in.